Hello, hello, everyone. How are we doing today? Welcome. I'm so excited to have you guys here with me today for our first Dermaverse class. It's going to be a really great class. We have lots of great information. So today we're going to be talking all about genomic instability, how that relates to inflammaging and targeting aging at the source. So each month we're going to be going through a different topic, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But today's topic for January is going to be that genomic instability that we've been talking about. And this is the meaning of DNA damage caused by exogenous and endogenous insults, or that inflammaging that we see. So let's go ahead and get into it. Also, just a little quick service announcement. If you guys do have any questions or you have anything that you need, go ahead and drop them in the Q&A section and we'll go through them throughout the duration of the class. And then at the end of the class, we'll answer any remaining questions that there are. So let's go ahead and get started. So, in case you guys did not know, this year is actually going to be our 25th anniversary, which is super exciting. So, Dermastart has been around for 25 years. So, we've really been pushing that innovation, education, and really trying to move the industry forward with intention, right? Making sure that you guys feel supported as estheticians when it comes to not only the treatment room, but also when it comes to education, making sure that you guys are up with the latest trends, making sure that we're staying kind of at the forefront of all of that. We have a lot of really exciting things planned this year, and I can't wait to share that with you. First of all, being our new Dermaverse, which we'll get into in the next slide, but we're going to be having our new Dermaverse segment every single month. We also have a lot of really great things coming up at the trade show, so I'm super excited to meet and see all of you guys there. And really, we just wanted to say thank you so much for everything that you guys have done for us. Each year is a great milestone, and 25 years is a really long time. So thank you for helping us to not only advance skincare, but really show you how we can educate and how we can be so much more than just estheticians. And we're really excited to see what this year has in store for us. So thank you guys so much. And we're so excited to celebrate all year long with you guys. So stay tuned for a lot of really exciting new collaborations, classes, products. I will say we have a lot of really great things in the works that I'm super excited for you all to see and get to tell you guys all about. But let's kind of get into our new Dermaverse class. Also, Happy New Year's, everyone. This is our first class back since the holiday season, which is really, really exciting. So this is our new Dermaverse class. You guys loved our skincare era, and we wanted to elevate it and make it even better than it was before. So may I introduce you guys to Dermaverse? So this is our new educational track for 2026. This is going to be all about introducing you to new monthly education series grounded in that modern longevity science. So all about those system-based skincare biology. So we're going to be exploring, how biological hallmarkers are going to affect the skin, whether that's going to be through, cellular, metabolic, functional levels, right? We're going to go through it all. And we really wanted to develop this concept to really make sure that you guys are at the forefront when it comes to education and kind of knowing how we're using these hallmarkers in every day-to-day life, and how these techniques and how these sessions really help to elevate us as professionals and really make sure that we are able to relay this to our clients in a digestible way to give them even better results than we're already giving them. And if you're asking, what is a hallmark? So this concept was actually developed by a group of scientists trying to understand why organisms age. So this month we're focusing on genomic instability or inflammaging of the DNA. And each month we're going to go through a different hallmark, which is going to be really exciting. And we'll break down the specific hallmark of aging and translate that to its relevance, right? How is that relevant in the treatment room? How is that relevant in the protocols that we're using or the products that we're using? And really talk all about, that barrier intelligence, which is really going to be, I think, trending this year, all about that neurogenic signaling that we've kind of been leading on to as we released our neurogenic peels, and how we can really make the skin behave in a way that we want to for those optimal results, and making sure that our clients are getting exactly what they need, which is going to be really exciting. So a little bit about today's class objective. So today's class objective, we have a few different things that we're going to be going over. First and foremost are going to be the hallmarkers of aging. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But we're also really going to talk about biological drivers of inflammaging and how that chronic low-grade inflammation actually accelerates that visible skin aging. And this is going to give us, what signs should we be looking for when we're talking about inflammaging with our clients, when we're looking for it in the treatment room, right? And really understanding how this is going to shift, how hormonal shifts play into this, how microbiome imbalances play into this, and even those environmental stressors in day-to-day life. How is that all targeting or accelerating that aging process that we're going through? We'll also be talking about targeting ingredients and technologies. So we'll be going over our new neuroscience peels, neurogenic peels. We'll also be talking about our dermal sensory correction technology in case you're not familiar with it here. This is a proprietary blend to us here at Dermastart, but I'll save that for a little bit later. And then we also have how we're going to do corrective treatments and using that modernized approach, right? So making sure that we're using the right product for the right case scenario and really prioritizing that skin health and building that resilience within the skin. We also want to talk about building smarter protocols. Are we going to be adaptable in the treatment room when we see these issues? This is going to set us up for success and making sure that we know how to have adaptability, right? Because adaptability really does go so much farther than just the treatment room, even when you're checking your clients out, when you're talking about products to use with them. So this is going to help to build that long-term skin stability and also help with brightening and regeneration of the skin, and just helping you guys to gain confidence on educating about inflammaging, since this is a little bit of a newer topic, and how we can sustain those results with not only those professional treatments that we're doing, but also with our home care strategies as well. So we can give our clients that useful, more calm, balanced skin that they're looking for. So lots of really, really great information in here. On a quick side note, in case you aren't familiar with Dermastart brands, a little bit of an intro for you so that way you can get a little bit more comfortable in case this is your first class with us. We are a multifunctional and adaptable skincare line. So that means that we are for all skin types, tones, and textures. And what we mean by that is that we are able to fully transition no matter what phase your client's in. Whether it's your preteens dealing with a little bit of that acne and congestion, kind of starting to get into skincare, all the way up to your advanced clients dealing with inflammaging, dealing with that hyperpigmentation, dealing with hyperfriction, we're really able to transition in their routine and give them those results that they want. We are also always going to be cruelty-free, and we use the best professional resources available to us. So you guys are getting the best professional resources available to you as well, which is amazing. And then we're also known for our affordability. So we're a lot more competitive in pricing in comparison to any other clinical line on the market, which is something I think is amazing, because when you guys are successful, that means that we're successful, right? So we do also offer drop shipping as well, which is a program I tell all my estheticians to take advantage of. This allows you to not have to keep that physical inventory on your shelves, but ships it directly to your client in case you're maybe doing virtual consultations. Maybe your client moves away, but they still want to stay on their still regime. This is a great way to still have that client connection as well. We also do affordable shipping. So if you place an order online, we do have a flat rate of shipping, and it is very, very affordable, especially in comparison to any other clinical line on the market, which I think is amazing. And then a ton of free education. So especially this year, more than ever, we're going to have amazing education. So really take advantage of that. And I'm really excited to teach you guys all about today's topic. So let's go ahead and get into the biological hallmarkers of aging. So first and foremost, when we're talking about biological hallmarkers of aging, we have genomic instability, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So science has categorized these hallmarkers into step-by-step breakdowns based on the proposed hierarchy of when they manifest during our aging process. So this breakdown, what it's going to do, it's going to help to illustrate to us the progression from initial cellular damage all the way up to systematic decline, right? So kind of going through that aging process. And then here at Dermastart, we really wanted to utilize this because this is great, because not only is it going to remind each one in the industry of the importance of conveying this message to your client, but this is also going to help you in the treatment room. It's also going to help you work with the damage that's already there and help with that prevention and also that protection as well. So really helping with our, education on, products, helping with the antioxidant defense, that inflammation reduction, and really helping to preserve the barrier. And you'll notice that that's kind of going to be a focal point of today's class, is really, really talking about that barrier. It is so, so, so important. But our education is really going to break down the specific pillars that we have and how to identify the dominant stress drivers and really how we can restore the skin back to its that optimal functionability, right? So we'll be going over the primary causes of damage, how agonistic response to damage, and then also integrative functional decline. So these are great because us as estheticians, we kind of slow that rate of damage. So that alone is going to change that aging outcome. So this is really going to allow us to kind of be the leaders in this and really know what to look for in the treatment room. And when we're talking about treatment room, right, stress signals are going to shape those skin behaviors. So, with our knowledge of skin biology, modality applications, and the recovery aspect of sequencing is really going to allow us to do more than just treat the surface of the skin, right? So as estheticians, we all know that we are the stress signaler messengers, right? So we are really helping to look for those skin disruptions, that UV exposure, inflammation, oxidative stress, and barrier breakdown, right? We're kind of the forefront of seeing all of that firsthand. And by reducing these signals, we can help to create conditions where the skin can actually properly communicate, it can repair and have that responsive mode instead of that defensive mode, right? So this is going to have a better outcome, especially over time, and be more effective. It's really important that when we're dealing with stress, we know stress can affect the skin in many different ways, that we're looking for those signals to help to calm that DNA damage that's already occurring and really just help to support those cells and how they can repair themselves as well, which is really amazing. So getting into genomic instability, this is hallmark number 1 of the 12 that we'll be talking about this year. So as we age, our DNA, which is that blueprint of our cells, right, that's going to accumulate damage. So that chronic inflammation is going to create a hostile cellular environment, and that cumulative damage is really going to disrupt those cell signaling and that repair process that our skin goes through. So we know that once those cells are damaged, right, and that communication is kind of out of whack, right? Like they're not communicating as they should. That's going to lead to delayed repair. That's going to lead to delayed response. And it's also ultimately going to impair how the skin functions on a daily basis and how it's going to behave in the treatment room, right? We know that as estheticians, we see everything in our treatment room, right? We know how the skin is going to work. We know how our clients are going to react most of the time. But if they're having that accelerated damage, right, that's going to be a problem for us. So it's really important to make sure that we are keeping our eyes open and we are looking for these signals. That way we can also relay this message to our clients in obviously the most loving way to them, because we do love them so much, but making sure that they understand what's actually going on, because the skin is so much more than just skin, right? It is a whole organ. It is a whole system in and of itself. So understanding the skin is going to be so important. And when we can look out for these, cell miscommunications, the delayed healing, the delayed response in these treatments, right? It's ultimately going to make us better estheticians because we're going to know what to look for. We're going to know how to pivot, and we're going to know how to adapt as well. So those are just a little, my little 2 cents on that. But, this is really important because it's going to only elevate our knowledge as well. So what is inflammaging? Inflammaging is going to refer to that chronic low-grade inflammation. So this is gradually going to accelerate that visible skin aging. So this is not that inflammation that we see in the treatment room where it's almost immediate, right? It's not going to be dramatic. It's not going to be obvious, like after you do a peel or maybe a modality. And it's a little bit more on that aggressive side, that immediate inflammation that we see. No, this is going to be quiet. It's kind of like the secret killer, right? It's going to be ongoing microaggressions that are going to lead to that inflammation that happens beneath the surface every single day. So here is a really great kind of example of that. We have that chronic inflammation from that UV exposure, and what that's going to lead to is that degradation of collagen and elastin, which is going to also lead us to that pigmentation, because now our tyrosinase inhibitors our tyrosinase is kind of all out of whack. So this is a really good visual of it and how it kind of accelerates that aging process of the skin. And when we're talking about inflammaging, the role of inflammation in the skin, we know that inflammation affects the skin no matter what we're treating, whether that's acne, melasma, hyperpigmentation, disrupted barrier, right? Pretty much any skin condition that we are working with will lead us back to some form of inflammation. And this is because inflammation is going to be our body's natural protective response to injury, irritation, infection, and other stressors. So typically when we see inflammation in the body, that's going to show as, that redness that we can see. You may even feel heat on the skin. It may feel very hot to the touch, swelling, pain, or even just overall dysfunction, right? And when we talk about it at a cellular level, this is going to involve the release of inflammatory mediators. So like keratinocytes or histamines that we see, or those histamine reactions. And those are all going to kind of recruit those immune cells to that affected area. But we don't want too much of a good thing, right? Because too much inflammation also is going to be bad for the skin. It's kind of like you have to have that balance in there. So when we're talking about inflammation, there's also a few different types of inflammation, right? So we have acute inflammation versus that chronic inflammation. So when we're talking about acute inflammation, that's that short-term inflammation that we see, and it's actually very beneficial to the skin. So this is going to help to repair damage. So think of like after you do extractions, you do microneedling on a client, or even a controlled chemical peel. Those are all going to be forms of acute inflammation. And those are actually beneficial because it's kind of putting the skin into a response where they're like, oh, I need to repair this. So now we're building that collagen and elastin. We're kind of healing the skin, right? Versus that chronic inflammation where this is persistent. So this is going to become from those low-grade irritants, and it silently degrades the skin. So this is usually caused by that UV exposure that we see, especially if you're somewhere like us in Florida where we go to the beach all the time. You're always out in the sun. That constant UV exposure can actually kind of damage the skin, especially if we're not using our SPF and properly protecting ourselves. Pollutants, if you live somewhere where it's very polluted. Stress is another really big one, and even diet or even incorrect skincare products, using products that are not made for our skin, that are doing the opposite of what they should. So those are all going to be forms of chronic inflammation. And how that's going to impact our skin function is it's actually going to break down that collagen and elastin. So those inflammatory mediators are going to trigger enzymes called MMPs, and these are going to degrade the structural proteins that lead to wrinkles, right? So that's where you're going to see a lot of that laxity in the skin, the loss of firmness, and a lot more wrinkles in the skin. And it's also going to lead us to a compromised barrier. And we know that a barrier is our first line of defense, and it's going to be one of the most important things that we tackle in skincare. So this chronic inflammation is going to weaken that lipid production and actually tighten those junctions. So it's causing dehydration. It's going to cause that sensitivity that we see and a lot of that redness that we can see in the skin. And once that barrier is kind of compromised, that's going to lead to that disruption in cellular communication, right? Because now everybody's kind of all over the place. They kind of don't know what they're supposed to be doing, where they're supposed to be going, how they're supposed to be communicating with each other. And that's going to lead to that inflammatory stress that's going to interfere with keratinocytes and fibroblasts. So that's going to slow that activity down. It's going to slow that regeneration, and it's going to slow that repair. And this can lead to things like increase in pigment issues as well. Again, inflammation is going to stimulate melanocytes, and that is often going to result in things like PIE or PIH, so that post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation or post-inflammatory erythema. It can also lead to uneven skin tone, and it's going to exacerbate that, uneven skin tone, but it's also going to exacerbate acne and rosacea, especially because it fuels that overactive immune response, and it's going to lead to more flare-ups. It's going to lead to swelling and visible redness. So we can see that inflammation is something that we need to be very aware of, and we need to know what type of inflammation we're dealing with so we can best tackle it as well. So when we're talking about the signs of inflammaging, that's going to be marked again by that chronic low-grade inflammation that's going to accelerate that aging. So it's going to show up as premature fine lines. So this is going to be that early formation of wrinkles that is going to be caused by that chronic inflammation and the reduction in collagen and elastin production. So this is going to make the skin appear older than it actually is to its chronological age. And usually when we see fine lines and wrinkles, we'll start noticing that persistent redness that's going to come through, especially if the barrier is weakened. So that's going to be the ongoing irritation and inflammation that shows up looking flushed, especially in our rosacea clients, or even sensitive. So this is often linked to that weakened barrier, like we had just said. And usually what comes with a weakened barrier is going to be increased dehydration. So we need the skin to be hydrated to have that homeostasis in it. So when we have that increased dehydration in the skin is actually going to struggle to retain moisture due to its impaired barrier, right? So that's going to cause that cellular dysfunction that leads to that dryness, that tightness, and that dullness that we see within the skin. And usually with dehydration, that leads us into thin, frail skin, especially if there is a loss of collagen production and elastin. So the loss of those structural proteins, it's going to actually slow that cellular turnover, and it's going to result in more delicate skin, right? It's easily damaged. It's going to get bruised more easily, and it can tear more easily, especially if, like, you think about it, our collagen and elastin is like this when we're really, really young. And as we get older, it kind of depletes. And what happens, that skin is just so much more thin and frail. So we have to use products that are going to help to stimulate that collagen and elastin. And then we also have dark spots and uneven skin tone, like we talked about a little bit earlier. And this is just going to, again, exacerbate excess melanin production, and it causes that pigmentation and that uneven skin tone as well, which is really important to look out for when we're looking for signs of inflammaging. And when we're talking about what it does to the skin, it breaks down that collagen and elastin, like we said, but it slows our cellular metabolism and that repair, right? So, like, think of it when you're working on the skin, right? Everyone is kind of like to think of it like a construction site, right? Collagen is one thing, elastin is another. So, everybody has a spot that they're supposed to be in. Once somebody kind of gets thrown off, right? Everybody kind of goes into chaos and kind of doesn't know what they're supposed to be doing. And it's the same thing with the skin, right? As we go through that aging process and that inflammation is there, the inflammation is disrupting what everyone's supposed to be doing. And that's where we're going to see slower repair. The metabolism's not going to be moving as fast as it should be. It's disrupting that foundation or that barrier that we have. And that's going to lead to things like increased sensitivity, redness, premature wrinkles, laxity, all of that stuff. So you can see it's kind of like a domino effect, like one thing leads to another. And the causes of this are usually through that UV exposure, pollutants, oxidative stress, like we said, but also this can be from using incorrect products or doing incorrect treatments on our clients. So making sure that we are doing treatments that are specifically for our client's skin and how it is going to be really important. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But something else you may not realize too is hormonal shifts and stress greatly, greatly, greatly affect our skin. And that can lead us into zombie cells or senescent cells, which release those inflammatory signals as well. So we can see, again, it's like a domino effect. Everything kind of goes with one another. And we can see that when we're talking about the different forms of inflammation, they affect the skin differently, but kind of lead to that same end result where we're having all of these issues that we now need to figure out how we're going to treat. And that's where our 4 pillars of skin health is going to come in. So this is great because these are guidelines that help us to understand not only the skin, but products as well and make ingredients easier as well. So we have 4 different pillars. So these are going to be the framework. So this is going to be the skin functions, right? Whereas our biomarkers are going to be more indicators and targets within that framework. So when we're talking about structural pillars, that's going to be that architectural and mechanical resilience of the skin. So think of your things like collagen, elastin, dermal thickness, and that overall matrix of the skin. So structural, I like to think of the structure of a building, right? It's kind of that foundation of everything that we're working with. Then we have molecular pillars. So that's that biochemical and signaling and cellular pathways driving that skin psychology. So that's going to be things like those oxidative stress markers, antioxidant enzyme activity, and those DNA repair markers. So for this, if I'm thinking about a building, these are kind of what is going to be causing any issues. They're kind of like, okay, what signals am I looking for to make sure that I have clear communication, right? So making sure that everybody's kind of where they should be. Then we have the functional pillar. So functional, that's going to be physiological performance of the skin and that dynamic processing of the skin. So think of your epidermal turnover, that wound healing capacity, enzyme cellular activity, especially from those Langerhans cells, enzymatic activity of our tyrosinase, and vascular function. So I like to think of this as like the director, right? He's the office manager. He's telling everybody exactly where they should be, what they should be doing, keeping that communication of the skin intact and making sure that everybody knows exactly how they should be performing and what their process is within that performance. Then we have barrier. Our barrier is number 1. It's going to be one of the most important things. And this is going to define the skin's role in maintaining that homeostasis and also that defense. So think of your things like transepidermal water loss, stratum corneum hydration, lipid profile, those surface skin pH. So with this one, I like to think of it as, he kind of goes hand in hand with that functional pillar and making sure that everybody is where they should be. Everybody's happy. He's kind of like our HR agent in this building, right? He's making sure that everyone's happy. They have everything that they need. And, that this one is doing what it's supposed to be doing and that one's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So he's kind of like the overall HR manager of the building. That's the best analogy that I can think of for it. Just making sure that everybody is functioning as they should. And all of these relate to our skin because we need each pillar in order to understand how the skin is functioning, what we should be looking for, and what to do within each pillar or structure as well. So those are just something that I find really helpful, especially when I'm looking at my client's skin and trying to figure out, what we're going to be doing to their skin. What am I looking for? And I look for something within each of these pillars so I can kind of get an idea of the overall framework of their skin and how it's kind of functioning and going. And there's a difference between aging and aging well. So when we talk about this, this leads us into those senescent cells that we kind of touched base on a little bit earlier. And what senescent cells are they are zombie cells that actually stopped dividing but remain active, right? So they didn't actually die off like they're supposed to. And they release harmful molecules called SAPs. So that's a chronic low-grade inflammation or senescence-associated secretory phenotypes. That's a mouthful, but these are really going to show in things like, these are going to be from things like, UV damage, oxidative stress, DNA damage, and this affects the skin within those pillars. It's going to break down elastin and collagen, which is going to lead to the more wrinkles and sagging. It's going to lead to that chronic inflammation of the skin, which increases redness and sensitivity, slower repair. And this matters because when we're talking about the accumulation, it's going to accelerate that visible aging that we see and actually reduce the skin's resilience. And that's where those neurogenic peels that we're going to touch base on in a little bit are really going to be a game changer for you, because they're not just exfoliating agents, they're actually cellular recalibrators. So, while traditional chemical peels have a time and a place, and we absolutely love them for when we need them, traditional peels typically only focus on that surface level correction. What our neurogenic peels are doing is they're working a little bit deeper within the skin. So they're modulating the biological communication between stressed and aging and senescent cells and creating healthy skin and healthy cells. So it's all about recalibrating your environment when we think about it, right? Timing, we want to look for these early or temporary senescent cells within the skin. Location, we need to know where they're targeting and where they're at, and also understanding the underlying drivers between these cell types. So is it from that UV damage? Is it from that oxidative stress? Is it from, overall aging, right? Making sure that we need to know this is going to help us to be better estheticians and know how to pivot in the treatment room. And that leads me into my next point, where how does inflammaging actually affect the treatment room? Because as estheticians, we're always in the treatment room, right? So this is going to impact treatment tolerances. So when we're talking about inflamed or compromised skin, it can be more sensitive. So it makes it a lot harder to actually tolerate those treatments that we're doing or those products that we're using on our client. And why we should care about this is because when we're talking about that chronic inflammation, the skin's going to respond poorly to those aggressive peels. It's going to heal slower. It's going to show faster signs of aging, and it's actually going to struggle to maintain its moisture and its resilience. And this is exactly where those neurogenic peels are going to come in and be that breakthrough, as they help to modulate that inflammation pathways and actually interrupt the inflammaging cycle and help the skin to recover smarter and not harder. And this, when we're talking about treatment intolerances, right? If a client comes in with, inflamed or compromised skin, and we're not able to do those treatments or procedures or products on them, right? What's going to happen is it's going to slow those results. That chronic inflammation is going to impair that cellular function, and it's actually going to delay that healing and reduce the effectiveness of that treatment that we're essentially doing on our client, which can lead to post treatment complications, right? We know that when skin is already stressed, it's already more prone to that irritation, that redness, swelling, or even hyperpigmentation after procedures, and it can actually have a slower healing rate as well. So this is where we need to come in and take that protective approach to our clients. So having a successful treatment is all about adapting those protocols when needed and understanding those barrier supportive products, right, to help to reduce that inflammation, not only before the procedure, but also after the procedure as well. These are all going to be really important things to look out for in the treatment room. And this matters in peels because we know that peels are going to be a game changer. Every esthetician loves peels for a good reason, right? They are kind of the foundation of our industry. And when we're talking about peels, neurogenic peels are great because not only do they help with those senescent cells and that inflammaging, but they actually have those neuromodulating actives in them. They are going to calm signs of inflammation that before they kind of escalate to those senescent cells or really accelerate that inflammaging, right? It's going to support that barrier function during the exfoliation process, right? Because whatever we exfoliate, we have to hydrate as well. And it's going to reduce the formation of those new zombie cells, like I had said a little bit earlier, to help to keep that skin clear from those damaged cells effectively. So once we get rid of those damaged cells, the skin kind of going to be like a well-oiled machine, and she's going to be working as she should. And that's going to promote that healthier cellular turnover and that long-term skin resilience as well. But on the flip side, if the skin is inflamed or the barrier is compromised, traditional peels, like I said, can trigger more senescent cells. It can increase that inflammation and downtime or even worsen sensitivity. So making sure that you're choosing the appropriate peel for your clients and where their skin is at is going to be super important as well. So when we're talking about potent ingredients to combat cellular aging, we know that it starts at a molecular level, right? So we really meticulously chose the ingredients that are in these peels. Not only are they going to treat the surface of the skin, but they are also going to actually target that root cause of aging, inflammation, and that cellular stress. So we're using those cutting edge science with innovation formulas. So this is going to be great because we're helping to set the standard for transformative skincare that's actually going to truly move the needle in that treatment room when we're trying to help our clients. And some ingredients that I think of off the top of my head that are in all three of the peels are going to be urea. Urea is amazing for that barrier recovery. Then we have Augustache mexicana flower, so great for calming chinocytes activity. And then we have our dermal sensory correction technology, which is going to help to regulate that inflammatory signaling. So again, all of these ingredients are really, really great. And you can find all three of these in each of our neuroscience and neurogenic peels, which is really great. So you don't have to go kind of pick and choose. You just have to pick and choose based off what you're trying to treat, which is really cool. So when we're talking about advanced skincare actives, right, the goal is to reduce as much oxidative stress and inflammatory stress as possible. We want to support cellular energy while creating an environment where that DNA signaling and repair pathways are functioning more effectively. So some ingredients that we can look out for in not only our products that we're using, but also in the treatment room when we're doing our back bar treatments and all of that is Q-Ceratin. Q-Ceratin is really, really great because this is a flavonoid that can actually help to clear senescent cells, and it's often combined with destabins in studies. So really, really great for helping to kind of calm those senescent cells, and you'll find Q-Ceratin in a lot of our products, which is great. Then we have Fisetin. So Fisetin is great because it's actually another flavonoid with senolytic properties. So what that means is it's going to reduce inflammation that's associated with those senescent cells. And then we have curcumin. So this is anti-inflammatory. It's going to help to suppress harmful signals from senescent cells as well. We also have resveratrol, which is an antioxidant that supports cellular health and actually helps to reduce oxidative stress. We also have our green tea extract, or you can see it be called EGCG, which is kind of a mouthful, but you may see it by either inky name. And this is actually going to protect the skin against that DNA damage and actually modulate those senescent signaling. And then we have peptides. We know peptides are amazing. We love peptides. So some peptides specifically that are really great are palmitoyl tetrapeptide 20. This is great because it supports that DNA repair and reduces stress signaling that can trigger senescent cells. We also have SH polypeptides or biomimetic peptides as well. And these actually help to regulate cellular communication and improve repair pathways. So think of it as a communicator. Then we have niacinamide and NAD boosters. So these are great because they support mitochondrial health and cellular energy and indirectly reduce senescent triggering as well. So you can see all of these ingredients are really, really great. And you can find a lot of these ingredients in a lot of the products that we have, which is even better. So it kind of takes out that guesswork for you as well. And then when we're talking about treatment room standards, right? This is kind of where those neurogenic actives come in. So that's going to be your things like neuropeptides, modulators, adaptogens, and even soothing botanicals. All of these are going to offer those clinically measurable benefits that are going to not only strengthen the skin, but also help with the overall wellness of the skin across the 4 pillars that we kind of touched base on. And each of these peels are great because not only are they going to help with the skin nervous response and that vascular connection, but they're actually going to enhance and have better skin comfort as well. So again, traditional peels typically only remove that dead skin cells. Think of our neurogenic peels kind of as rewires, right? They're kind of helping to reset that standard for the skin and build optimal skin communication. And when we have great communication in any capacity, whatever outcome we're looking for is going to be so much better than if we're having miscommunication, right? So neurogenic peels, again, they use those neuropeptides. They're going to use adaptogens and calming botanicals because it's going to reduce that inflammation. It's going to help with the barrier function, and it's also going to build that resilience in the skin. So what they're doing is they're essentially exfoliating the skin without overstressing the skin. So it makes them gentler, but more effective as well. And when we're talking about protocols, right? Again, if you guys do want the protocols for the neurogenic peels, please email me, hello@dermastart.com, and I will get these sent over to you. This will have everything that you could ever want to know about our new neurogenic peels, but that's just a little side note in case you are interested in that. When we're talking about protocols, right, we have to have the power of being adaptable in skin treatments, right? So adaptability is a non-negotiable when we're working in the treatment room. As estheticians, we really have to expect the unexpected with our clients, right? We all love our clients, we trust them, right? But sometimes they forget they used retinol. Sometimes they forget that they, used hydroquinone when you told them to stop, a month ago, right? So it's all about expecting the unexpected. And what's great about these peels is they allow us to have the confidence and rewiring the skin's communication to minimize those potential miscommunications, right? Or adverse reactions that we can see in the treatment room. And it really helps to return the skin back to that state of homeostasis. So selecting the right protocol really does require a deep understanding of not only the skin condition that we're treating, but also the ingredients that we're using, why we're choosing them, and also those lifestyle factors as well. Again, somebody like myself, where I'm in an office and it's nice and AC, you're going to do a lot of different treatments on me than you are somebody who works outside and is constantly in the sun 24/7. So having that adaptability is going to be really important, because not only are these treatments that we're doing going to be effective, right, but they're going to focus on reducing inflammatory triggers. It's going to help to promote that regeneration of the skin, enhance the luminosity of the skin, and also support the long-term stability of the skin, right? So this is just exemplifying an intentional approach, right? When we do something with intention, it has purpose. So they are going to be carefully formulated and applied, not only to address those immediate concerns that we're looking at, but also to rebuild and foster a healthier, more intelligent, resilient skin as well, and build that communication within them. So getting into the peels, we have Barrier Sync. Barrier Sync is going to be first and foremost. This is going to be the first stepping stone of our neurogenic peels. This is where you're going to want to start all your clients off with. Barrier sync is great because it, as the name suggests, is going to resynchronize our barrier. It's going to help with the integrity and the hydration, but also provides that exfoliation. So that way we're building that resilience and helping healthier skin, right? You don't need a strategy to recalibrate, target the persistent harmful zombie cells. You just need a good one. So we need a good strategy. And this is going to be the first of the 3 levels that we're kind of going to talk about. So the goal isn't to clear those harmful zombie cells. It's actually to preserve the regenerative ones and reprogram the skin towards that resilience. So this is going to help to influence the persistent senescent cells while supporting repair and rejuvenation within the skin. And really, we're just optimizing our barrier, right? And we're helping with that turnover cycle as well. So our skin can function at that peak resilience. When we're talking about the barrier, your skin needs to be in a responsive mode, right? Not a defensive mode, because when we're in a responsive mode, we're actually going to restore its decision-making capabilities first, which is going to be something super important. So in here, we have 12% lactic acid, which we know is a larger molecular structure, as you can see here. And this is really great because it is going to be gentle on the skin. It's also going to act as a humectant. So it's going to hydrate and it's also going to exfoliate. We have some papain enzyme in there to help with digest all of those dead flaky skins. We have oleic acid and glutamic acid. So these are all going to be really great for helping with that exfoliation process and healing of the skin. Then we have milk proteins. Milk proteins are so amazing for recalibrating the skin and helping with that exfoliation process and brightening the skin. We just did a really, really great blog post up on our website. I encourage all of you guys to kind of go and take a look at it. It's all about milk proteins and barrier sync. Really amazing. Lots of really great information in there. So I highly suggest checking that out. Again, then we have that urea in there to help to rebuild the skin, and that Augustacea mexicana flower to kind of help lower that skin's temperature and help with that healing process. And then our dermal sensory correction technology to help with that communication of the skin and help to rehabilitate the skin as well. And when we're talking about barrier sync, right, this has a pH of 3.25, so it's going to be a little bit higher than the other two we're going to talk about. But this is going to be our first peel in the series of neurogenic peel protocols. And this is to ensure that we are restoring the proper skin communication, signaling, and making sure that we are encouraging the skin. So then that way, whenever we move on to either Clariplex or Biofade, we have our ideal candidate. So you can see here, this barrier sync is going to be for first-time peel clients, compromised skin, reactive skin, sensitive skin. Great for targeting skin concerns such as dehydration, dullness, uneven skin tone, or even dryness. And this one, you really want to start with 1 to 2 layers, see how their skin responds before we kind of amp them up and bump them up and then move them to ClearPlex. But what I love here is you can see the exact type of skin that we are trying to treat with this, which is going to be really important as well. Then we have ClearPlex. So as the name suggests, this is going to help to clear the skin. So ClearPlex is great because this is a multi-action exfoliating treatment. So this is going to focus on things such as clarity, as the name suggests, and overall complexion. So this is going to help to refine pore appearance. It's going to help to balance those excess surface oils and also improve redness and uneven skin tone. You can see here, this is from one of our ambassadors. She had done this treatment, and this is the before, this is the after. This is after 1 treatment, which is actually really amazing. And what's great about this is it's going to have 2% salicylic acid in there to kind of digest all of those oils in the skin. We know salicylic oil or salicylic acid is a BHA, so really, really great in there. Then we also have glycolic acid. We know that glycolic acid is going to penetrate the skin a lot quicker than our lactic acid or our mandelic acid. So great for accelerating that cellular turnover. And then we have 2% of azelaic acid. So again, helping with that pigmentation, it's going to help with the overall texture and tone of the skin. Then we have niacinamide or vitamin B3 in there. So again, helping with the hydration, helping with the pore size, making sure that we are also giving the skin a nice overall glow. And then again, that urea, Agastache mexicana flower, and the dermal sensory correction technology in there. And our ideal candidate for this is going to be somebody with more oily combo skin. And what's great about this, it has a little bit lower of a pH of 3. So it's a little bit more intense. And this one you can do up to 6 layers with. So for me, I like to take a progressive approach when I'm working on my clients. So on their first treatment, I'm going to do barrier sync. I usually do 1 to 2 layers as the protocol suggests. If I feel like they need it, I like to sometimes do another barrier sync about, 2 to 4 weeks after, again, depending on their skin. And I'll do, again, 2 layers, and then I'll move into our ClearPlex. And I usually like to do a series, either doing ClearPlex or BioFade. And you can do up to 6 layers. So again, taking that progressive approach, maybe on the first treatment, I'm going to do up to 3, see how their skin handles it. On that second treatment, do 4 to 5, and then on the last, do 6. Again, this all depends on your client's lifestyle. It depends on what you're trying to target. It depends on a bunch of different things. That's just my general recommendation. But this is going to be great for somebody with breakouts who's looking for clarity, who they have a lot of congestion, texture, or inflammation of the skin, especially with that non-inflamed acne and inflamed acne as well. You can see here that it helps a little bit with that pigmentation as well. Then we have BioFade. So BioFade, as the name suggests, is going to fade pigmentation. So great for helping to brighten. This is great because it's going to help with melasma, uneven skin tone, and hyperpigmentation. So also great for textured skin, dullness, dryness, and early signs of aging. So this has 12% lactic acid in there, 18% mandelic acid. So again, mandelic acid is antibacterial and it's that larger molecular structure. So this would be great for somebody who's maybe a little bit more sensitive, or maybe they can't use, salicylic, glycolic, whatever the case may be. This would be a great alternative. 5% tranexamic acid, so great for helping with that brightening aspect and really rehabilitating the skin. We also have a bunch of different peptides in there as well, full of antioxidants as well. And then we have the urea, Agastache mexicana flower, and dermal sensory correction technology. So you can see that each of these peels really is great depending on what you're trying to treat and what you're trying to target. So there is something for everybody. And then we have for our ideal candidates, again, this one is a lower pH, so pH of 3. So this is going to be for all skin types. So sensitive, oily, acne, dryness, whatever the case may be. Anybody and everybody can benefit from this peel. Great for targeting skin concerns like aging, pigmentation, residual acne marks, so PIE, PIH, melasma, and even rough texture. And again, this one you can do up to 6 layers as well, which is really, really cool. Then we have home care, right? Because what we do in the treatment room is only 20% of the work. The other 80% of it is going to be what they're doing at home. So home care is going to be super important because not only is this going to help to support healthy skin, but it's also going to complement those in-clinic treatments that we're doing and help to also target those senescent cells that we are trying to treat. So we want to make sure that we have a wide variety of antioxidant defense, controlled cellular turnover, hydration, and anti-inflammatory care for these holistic home cares, and really help with minimizing that DNA decline and helping to maintain the skin's vitality as well. First and foremost, Sensi Cream Cleanser. the love of my life. I love this cleanser. It's absolutely amazing. She is newer to our ClearChoice line. She's absolutely amazing because she has mandelic acid in there. It is a creamy mandelic cleanser, which I live, laugh, love. So this is going to be a cream to oil formulation. So she's going to be very great for gentle cleansing, great for dry skin, sensitive skin, reactive skin. Maybe the mandelic cleanser is a little bit too much for your client. This would be my alternative for them. So it has mandelic acid in there. Again, that larger molecular structure. So it's going to gently exfoliate the skin. It's antibacterial, antifungal, all of the antis, right? Then we have chamomile and green tea in there, and these are great because they are rich in antioxidants. So these are going to be natural botanicals that are going to help to calm inflammation and protect against those environmental stressors. Then we have cucumber extract. Cucumber extract is great because it provides a very deep hydration to the skin and actually reduces redness. And then we have our dermal sensory correction technology in there. So we have palmitoyl tripeptide 8 and acetyl tetrapeptide 40, which are two of the peptides that we utilize. And this is great because these are bioactive peptides that are going to support skin recovery and reduce inflammation. Then we have aloe and vitamin E, and these are great for helping to hydrate, soothe, and repair sensitive skin. And what I think sets this cleanser apart kind of from any other cleanser on the market is the inulin and alpha-glucan oligosaccharides. So this is great because these are prebiotic ingredients that support the skin's microbiome while also indirectly helping with that cellular turnover as well. So this is great for somebody who wants a nice deep follicular cleanse without it feeling dry, without it feeling like it's stripping your skin. Love, love, love Sensi Cream Cleanser. Then we have Mandelic Acid Cleanser. Mandelic Acid Cleanser is great because this is a beautiful gel formulation. It is very, very silky. This is going to be great for that precision refinement every time you cleanse. And this is great because it's well suited for skin concerns, especially those who are concerned about senescent cells, because it's going to combine that gentle exfoliation through that mandelic acid and those papaya enzymes in there to encourage that cellular turnover. But it's also going to have those antioxidants in there. So it's going to be anti-inflammatory, and that's going to be from that green tea, turmeric, rosemary, pomegranate, and vitamin E that's in there as well. And then we have hydration. This is great because even though it is an exfoliating cleanser and it is a gel formulation, it is still hydrating. So this is still going to help to support the barrier. So it's going to have things like panthenol, silk amino acids in there, and jojoba, aloe. So great for helping to maintain a healthy skin function. I love using Sensi Cream Cleanser first to kind of help to soften the skin, kind of doing my little massage, start with that cleansing process, and then going in with the Mandelic Cleanser afterwards. It's like glass skin. Oh my gosh, it makes your skin look absolutely gorgeous. So it's an award winner for a reason. So make sure that you guys definitely check that out. Then we have Microdose Cleanser. Microdose Cleanser is great because it's powered by microdosed retinol. So great for helping to support that cellular turnover without actually irritating the skin. So this is going to have NAD in it. So this is great because it's a vital coenzyme that's going to boost cellular energy. It's going to enhance that DNA repair and combat oxidative stress. So when we're using NAD levels, when we're talking about restoring those declining NAD levels in the skin, it's going to help to improve skin elasticity, firmness, and the overall health of the skin, and give you a more youthful appearance and build that resilience in the complexion, right? So this is going to help to have those optimal cellular repair and also build that longevity within the cells. Then we have encapsulated retinol. So this is going to be bioactive compound that's actually going to promote epidermal, oh my gosh, that was a tongue twister, proliferation, and it actually helps to accelerate that cellular turnover. So again, pairing this with either, the Sensi Cream Cleanser, depending on your client's skin, or the Mandelic Cleanser is really great option as well, because it's going to help with that collagen synthesis, and it's also going to make sure that we're targeting things like fine lines, wrinkles, help with that dyschromia, especially from that encapsulated retinol, so it gives that youthful appearance. Then we have hyacinth extract. So this is actually a radiance booster, and it actually helps to support the skin through antioxidants. Then we have glutathione in there, which is a master antioxidant, and everybody and their mother should be using glutathione in some capacity, whether you're taking it internally or using it externally. Glutathione is absolutely amazing. It's a great skin brightener and clarifier. Again, we have that dermal sensory correction technology in there. We also have our saccharide isomerate. So this is actually going to help to strengthen the skin's barrier function and reduce that transepidermal water loss. So what that is doing is it's helping to improve the skin's overall smoothness and elasticity and help to prevent a compromised skin or dehydrated skin. So really good for dehydrated or compromised skin, and also preventing it as well. Then we have biphenylazepine methane. This is great for rebalancing the negative environmental harmful stressors stressors that we have, right? So this is great for targeting the stress that we can't see. So somebody who lives a very stressful lifestyle, this would be a great cleanser for them as well. Then we have mini facial. Mini facial is great because not only is it giving us physical exfoliant, but it's also helping with that cellular defense and that barrier support as well. So this is great because it helps to protect those existing cells from becoming senescent cells and support actually a healthier cellular function. Full of a lot of different antioxidants in here. So we have green tea, grapeseed, vitamin E, and horse chestnut. These are all great because they help to fight free radicals, and they're going to prevent oxidative stress, and that can actually drive those senescent cells, but really great for helping to add that protection to the skin. Then we have our cellular support and that repair. So that's going to be things like our soy isoflavonoids, amino acids, hyaluronic acid, and wheat proteins. These are going to be great for improving the barrier support, protein synthesis, and also enhancing cellular function as well. And then with all of those amazing ingredients, we also have anti-inflammatory and soothing ingredients. So that's going to be things such as our chamomile or alpha-babazole. You may hear it be called either name, allantoin, and bamboo stems. These help to calm inflammation in the skin and reduce the triggers for that senescent cell formation. And then we have the barrier and hydration repair. So your things like evening primrose oil and triglycerides, sunflower seed oil, glycerin. These are all going to act as humectants and help to maintain the moisture in the skin and help the skin to function optimally. Fun fact too, what I love to do with this in the shower is I love to apply it, work it into the skin for about, a minute very gently, working in circular motions. And then, while I wash my hair and my body, all of that kind of fun stuff, I like to leave it on actually as a face mask so I get a little bit more benefits of it. And I also do that with the Sensi Cream Cleanser and the Microdose as well. If I really want to get a lot of those extra benefits, I kind of leave them on as face masks while I'm showering, and it really just enhances those results even more. And then we have Lacti-Biome Solution. Lacti-Biome Solution is such a game changer. This is great because it is a multitasking lactic acid solution that's not only going to balance and brighten, but it's also going to refine the skin. So this does have 10% lactic acid. And again, this is an AHA that's going to be both a gentle exfoliant and a very powerful humectant. So it's going to draw moisture into the skin and refine, while also helping to refine the texture from those exfoliation properties. So it's going to boost that radiance within the skin. It's going to help with, dullness, dead skin cells, and revealing more brightening, smoother skin as well. Again, Augustaceae mexicana flower is going to help to deliver those powerful anti-inflammatory results that we're looking for and have that antioxidant benefit and also lower the skin's temperature. Then we also have a pre and probiotic blend in here. So one of the ingredients being inulin. Inulin is great, again, for helping to support a healthy skin microbiome. And it's going to also strengthen the skin barrier and improve hydration. So it helps to build more smooth, resilient skin as well. We also have that dermal sensory correction technology in there. Again, that palmitoyl tripeptide 8 and acetyl tetrapeptide 40. Again, bioactive peptides that are going to help with the skin's recovery and reducing irritation. And this is a proprietary blend to us here at Dermastart. So you will not find dermal sensory correction in any other skincare line. So this is really great because it not only helps to return nerves back to a normal threshold, but it's also very soothing, very healing for the skin as well. Then we have Cica or Centella athleotica leaf. You can hear it be called by either name. And this is great for boosting collagen, helping to support that wound healing and strengthening the skin's barrier, especially for calming that inflammation and reducing redness and just kind of overall improving the skin's firmness and texture as well. And then beta-glucan. Love beta-glucan. Great because it has that exceptional hydration that we're looking for, but it's also skin smoothing and it also helps to reduce redness within the skin. So this is going to help with the natural repair process of the skin, and it's also going to add as an antioxidant protection and promote smoother, more healthy skin as well. And then we have DNA pads. What's really cool about our pads too, in case you didn't know, this is your first time ever hearing about them, seeing them, they are double-sided. So one side is going to be smooth and the other side is going to be more textured. So you can kind of control how exfoliating and how aggressive you want the treatment to be. Great for clients to use at home and really build up, their regime and making sure we have 4 different kinds. We'll be talking about 2 of the 4 today, but we have a lot of different options depending on what your client is trying to treat. So DNA pads, these are going to use retinol and retinal palmitate, so 2 different forms of vitamin A to trigger that cellular turnover and renewal, and also help to remove those older non-functioning cells as well. Then we have tripeptide 9 and tripeptide 3. These are great because not only do they help with cellular communication, but they also are regenerative and repairing, so it's going to help to maintain a healthy skin function. We have green tea in there again to help act as our antioxidants and our protector. And then we have chamomile and azulene in there, great for that anti-inflammatory effect and those soothing agents and help to reduce those damaged cells as well. We also have those allantoin in there, which is going to help with tissue repair. So great for smoothing the skin, helping with that, boosting that healthier cellular activity. And then we have vitamin D. So vitamin D is going to be great because this is going to help to support cellular differentiation and help to maintain healthy skin function as well. Then we have our copper ice pads. So these are great because these help to regenerate the skin and help with wound healing. So we know somebody who's going through inflammaging, they have less wound healing capabilities. This would be a great product for them. We have copper gluconate, which is going to be really great for healing and accelerating the skin's healing process. We have green tea in there, like we talked about earlier, sodium hyaluronate to help with that hydration and draw that moisture within the skin. That vitamin D in there again to help with that cellular differentiation and help with that cellular function as well. And then we have pseudoalarmonomus ferment extract. So this is going to be great for helping again with that wound healing process and that regeneration of the skin and building optimal healthy skin. Then we have Oceuticals Flare. If you're not using this in your treatment room, this is a game changer. This is a game changer for clients at home too. I'm telling you, this has single-handedly been one of the best products I have incorporated not only into my personal routine, but into every single one of my clients' routine. If you have a face, you need the serum. Absolutely amazing. So this is great because it's formulated to create an optimal environment. And what it's doing is it's actually helping to prevent that oxidative stress. So think of somebody who's sensitive, reactive, red, inflamed, acne prone, inflammaging, right? Everybody can benefit from this. Any inflammatory condition that we're working with, Oceuticals Flare. So this is going to help to reduce that chronic inflammation. So it's going to help with those inflammatory signaling. So great for helping to protect against oxidative stress, but also helping with that vascular health of the skin. So helping with that proper blood flow and really helping to reduce that neovascularization to help prevent localized stress and oxidative damage as well. It's going to help with hydration. It's going to help to literally do anything and everything. I love this after invasive treatments on the daily. I love this, whether I'm in the treatment room, whether it's for a client. So some of the ingredients in here that I love to highlight, again, is that dermal sensory correction technology. So palmitoyl tripeptide 8. Again, this is going to reduce neurogenic inflammation that contributes to cellular stress and also senescent cells. Then we have tetrapeptide 40. This is going to be great for helping with telangiectasia. So it's going to be caused by that exacerbated inflammatory response. So this is great for targeting that and helping to maintain a healthy vascular function of the skin. And it indirectly is going to reduce triggers that can accelerate those senescent cells as well. And then we have rosmarinical glucoside. This is great for helping with multiple forms of inflammation. So as you can see with this product, we're not only targeting that chronic inflammation, but also different levels of inflammation. So this is great because it helps with neovascularization and those inflammatory pathways. So it's improving the skin's overall tone while preventing that redness and supporting healthier cells and also helping with sensitive skin as well. Then we have caffeine glucoside. So this is going to reduce inflammatory factors and neovascularization, but it brightens the skin as well. And it's going to protect against those oxidative vascular stressors as well. Then we have galley glucoside, which is actually a very potent antioxidant that's going to neutralize free radicals and help with major drivers of cellular aging. So this is going to help with things like texture and maintaining for the formation of our barrier and helping with making sure our barrier is functioning effectively as well. Again, a little goes a very long way with this product as well. You only need about 3 to 4 drops for the entire face. Then we have our Oceuticals Night Shield, which again is newer to our Oceuticals line. So this is also not going to only treat what's visible now, but it's also going to prevent what's coming as well. So first and foremost, we have potassium azulene diglycite. So this is going to be great for helping to regulate sebum production and actually reducing pigmentation via tyrosinase inhibition. So this is a form or a derivative of azelaic acid. Really, really great. We have Centella asiatica in there. So this is also great because it's anti-inflammatory, like we know. It's soothing, and it's also going to be supporting a healthy communication between those cells. Then we have vitamin B5 or panthenol in there. So that's going to strengthen the skin's barrier and it's going to deeply hydrate the skin. So it's going to help make sure the skin has a moisturized factor to it so it's more resilient and it can function optimally. Then we have ashwagandha in there. So this is great because this is a potent adaptogen that's going to help with antioxidants that are going to combat oxidative stress. It's also a key driver for helping with those cellular aging and those senescent cells. It helps with our protecting from those environmental aggressors. And again, that dermal sensory correction technology. A little pro tip I have for you, if you really want to take this up a notch, my favorite way to use this is I like to do my Oceuticals Night Shield first, and then I do anti-wrinkle retinox on top. And I'm telling you, it's been a game changer, not only for my texture, but for my pigmentation and the overall look of my skin. It's been one of my favorite combos lately. If you give it a try and let me know, I'd love to hear how what you think about it, but that's one of my favorite ways to use it. Oh, and then we have, I think skipped one. I'm so sorry, guys. There we go. We have our Elimaderm. Elimaderm is great because this is a multi-active serum. So this is going to have not only azelaic acid in there, but it's going to have azelaic, salicylic, mandelic, lactic, and glycolic in there. All of these are going to be great because they all have different molecular weights, so they'll be able to penetrate the skin at different rates and also help with, acting as a humectant, being antifungal, antibacterial, helping to dissolve or not dissolve, helping with that oil regulation as well. Then we have sodium hyaluronate in there for that hydration and that green tea in there for, again, that antioxidant protection and also helping to soothe and calm the skin as well. Then we have Vita CB5. Vita CB5 is my favorite vitamin C on the market. I have not found one that I like better. Vita CB5 is that girl. So this is great because not only is it going to help with texture, tone, and clarity, but it also helps with the appearance of the skin as well. So this is great because it has a little bit of vitamin A in there. So it's going to encourage that healthy cellular turnover, but it's not enough where you're going to get retinol rash and feel irritated, anything like that. It also has L-carnosine in it. So this is great because it is going to help with glycation and cellular longevity protection. So this is going to help to support those proteins and actually delay those senescent cells. We have DMAE in there for lifting and firming. So it's really going to help to sculpt the skin and help with the membrane integrity of our cellular activity. We have quercetin or quercetin, depending on where you're from and how you like to say it. So this is going to be a flavonoid, like we talked about earlier, that is going to support combating cellular aging pathways. We also have CoQ10 in there. So this is going to protect the mitochondria and help to maintain energy production and help in the cellular aging. We have vitamin C. So this is really great because, again, it's going to be that antioxidant protection. It's going to be brightening. And then we also have that green tea in there as well. So really, really great ingredients, as you can see here. Then we have our Ages Repair Cream. What I love about this is that this is a layered approach when it comes to a moisturizer. So it's targeting multi-pathways of aging. So we have glycolic and lactic in there for a little bit of gentle exfoliation. We have a little bit of retinol, which again is going to help with that cellular turnover. We also have phytic acid. So phytic acid is great because this is going to help not only with the appearance of the skin, but also help with the longevity of the skin. We have acetyl hexapeptide 3 in there. So this is going to be really, really good for that skin communication. And then we have lysine, silk amino acids for that hydration. And then we have apple stem cells in there as well. So this is going to support the longevity of the skin and help with those skin stem cells as well. What I like about this is that even though it's targeting aging, some of my acne prone clients love this moisturizer. So you can see that it has, again, like our whole branding, we're adaptable, right? We're able to target a multitude of different things. So, whether we're targeting a little bit of that congestion and acne, we're also helping to target that anti-aging factors as well. Then we have Copper Ice Cream. Copper Ice Cream is going to be the one of the heavier moisturizers that we have. So this has SOD or superoxide dismutase in there. And this is great because this is one of the body's natural, strongest natural antioxidant enzymes. And then we have ergothine. So this is going to help with mitochondrial antioxidants that are going to protect that cellular energy. Copper gluconate in there to help with those coenzyme factors that are involved in skin healing and rehabilitation and collagen formation. We have L-carnitine in there, like we talked about, to support that mitochondrial energy, oh my gosh, and metabolism, and it's also going to reduce that buildup of cellular waste as well. And then we have bamboo extract. So bamboo extract is really cool because it's calming and strengthening to the skin. And again, we have that pseudo ultimus ferment extract. So this is going to be great for supporting not only repair, but hydration and also helping with regeneration. And then glycerin to act as a humectant to hydrate the skin as well. Then we have Lumi Enzyme. If you know her, you love her. This is a fan favorite for a reason. This was great because it's a renewing enzymatic mask. So it's going to have bromelain and papain in there to help with digesting those dead skin cells, and green tea for those antioxidant effects. But it also has ginseng root, which is great because it helps with the skin's vitality and reducing the fatigue of the skin. So it kind of helps to waken the skin up. Then we have kojic acid in there. So this is going to help with acting as a tyrosinase inhibitor. So it's going to help with inhibiting excess melanin production, which can often be worsened by senescent cells. It's going to have vitamin K in there too to support that microcirculation and that healing in the skin. And then we have squalane, which we know is a oxygenator and a super hydrator, so really good for helping to hydrate the skin. And then sodium lactate as well as a little bit of exfoliation in there as well. And then we have Sport Shield SPF 45, because if you're not wearing your SPF, there's no point in doing all the rest of that. We have to protect our skin every single day, 24/7, no matter if you're inside or outside. SPF is going to be one of the most important things. Think of it like insurance for everything else that we're doing, right? So this is great because this is a combination of a block and light moisturizer. So it's formulated for daily use. So it does have that 12% zinc oxide in there, which is going to be that SPF factor. We have alpha lipoic acid. We have alpha babazole in there, squalene, aloe vera. We also have evening primrose. So you can see that this is a really great hydrating, soothing, calming SPF. I love it because it's a nice gel texture. It's lightweight. It's acne safe. My acne prone clients can use it. My oily skin clients can use it. My clients who work outside on the daily every single day can use it. Clients who work on the inside can use it. You can use it under makeup as well. So she's a multitasker. She's amazing and wonderful. And she's a fan favorite for a reason. And this one is also available in back bar too, if you are looking to add that to your back bar. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I would love if you have any questions, drop them in the Q&A section while you guys kind of get your questions together. If you guys do have any questions for me, and maybe you're a little too shy to ask, you can definitely reach out to me directly at hello@Dermastart. That is the best way to get in contact with me. Our office phone number, in case you want to order any products or you have any questions, is going to be 866-589-2949. All of the products that we spoke about today can be found at www.dermastart.com. So on our website, if you're not a part of already, you're going to want to be a part of our Facebook group. So at Dermastart Professionals on Facebook, and then tag us on Instagram if you use any products, any reels, any videos you guys do, tag us at Dermastart as well. And that will be it. Let's see if there's any questions here. Alrighty, I see one. Julie said, can you please repeat which products give that glass skin appearance? So two of my favorite combos are going to be, first and foremost, I like to do Sensi Cream Cleanser first. I like to do dry hands, dry face, work that in. I say for about like a minute is usually what I like to do. Add a little bit of water to emulsify it. I take that off, and then I do Mandelic Cleanser afterwards, or microdose, depending on my client's skin, or depending if I'm doing it on myself, how I'm feeling for the day. Work that into the skin for, again, another like 1 to 2 minutes. And I like to leave that on for about, I would say like a minute, kind of like a little face mask. Remove. That's a really great way to get glass skin. Or I like to do our new O-Ceuticals Night Shield. I'll put that on first. I'll let that dry for about 30 seconds, and then I go in with our anti-wrinkle retinox, and I will put that on top, and then my moisturizer. Those are my two kind of little secret combo hacks that I love to do as well. All right, guys, are there any other questions? Let's see here. No? All right. Well, thank you guys again so much for being here with me today. I hope to see you guys all in our barrier class that we are going to be having next Monday. We will also be doing a class with the Money Making Esthetician towards the end of the month. So make sure you're in their group so you can see more of that. We have a lot of really great education coming up. So I look forward to seeing you guys all there. Again, thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, shoot me an email and I will be in contact with you guys. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye.